On an overcast Sunday evening here in Boulder, we welcome you inside of Folsom Field on the campus of the beautiful University of Colorado Boulder. Thank you all for tuning in to our pregame show as the Colorado Buffaloes prepare to take on the Wyoming Cowboys. Thank you all for tuning in. Once again, I'm Kieran Walker, joined by Xavier McNevitz, Colby Wyatt, and Harrison Simeon. It's an absolute pleasure to have you folks here in the booth this week. Gentlemen, how are we feeling coming into this game tonight?
I can't lie. Me personally, I think I'm a little nervous. I think it's going to start off like the Delaware game, and it's going to be a little close, but I think the Buffs will ride away with it.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit like these players right now. I know that they've had a long day of preparation. Obviously, the night game kind of a topic of discussion coming into today. But I'm anxious, a little bit, a little nervous. Obviously, a loss spells disaster for CU.
And, of course, I'm just excited for football, and I'm excited to see what this game will hold for the future. There's a lot is going to be told here today. It's going to reflect upon the rest of the season.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake here today, gentlemen. I mean, it's another night game. Talking about night games, Harrison, how about on that night practice on Thursday evening? The lights were shining here at Folsom Field. They were blinding the folks over on 28th Street. The boys they're doing everything they can to prepare for another night game. I mean, this is a new squad, as we've been talking about all season, but I mean they're preparing and they're getting used to it. Those who are returning, like Staub, they're used to these night games, so they're ready to lock in. So anyway, on the Cowboys, gentlemen, they're riding down from Laramie down here to Boulder. It's about an hour and a half coming down, and 2-1 record overall. Interesting start to the season. They started off playing Toledo. University of Akron. I apologize, folks. And that was a 10-0 W. Not a whole lot of stuff went on in that game, but an FCS opponent, the University of Northern Iowa, took a 31-7 dub. And last week they lost to the Utah Utes. It was a close game to start off, fellas. I mean, they held Utah to 3 points in the first half, but they just could not hold that momentum after halftime.
Yeah, one thing about Wyoming is that they have a really stout defense. I think they have the third best. I think they allow the least amount of yards in the Mountain West, and I think the third least points per game in the Mountain West. So they have a really stout defense, and it's going to be hard with this Buffs defense this Buffs offense that's kind of been struggling.
Counterpoint there. Utah's offense has been questionable all the season. We saw how questionable it was earlier today against Texas Tech, and so I don't know how much I buy into the Wyoming defense. I don't know. They have some physical guys for like a group of 6 school, but I'm not quite sure how much I'm buying it.
I'm more on your side, Xavier. Their defense has looked, on tape, very solid. A shutout in Akron. I mean, Akron's Akron, but a shutout is a shutout. And their linebacker core, very solid. They've had a great recruiting class. They have a lot of young talent. And I think that's going to show tonight. They're going to play with energy. They're going to play with nothing to lose because that's what they got.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison, obviously their defense is strong. I mean, they were able to shut out Akron, but I mean, only 10 points on the board for their offense. So I mean, obviously when you're playing like a school like Northern Iowa coming in from the FCS, you're expected to dominate, and that's exactly what they did. But I mean, coming in here into Boulder after playing Utah, taking that tough loss. I mean, Utah is a ranked team. They're solid this season, but they do have their struggles. We saw Texas Tech today, obviously. But coming into Folsom, I mean, I would expect nothing more than Buffalo's W today, gentlemen. And moving forward, I mean, I know we don't really want to talk about this here on SBS, but we got to talk about Houston. That was a really rough game down in the Space City. We had a crew down there, Leo Rivera and company. Hannah Howell, who's just above us in the booth here, is down there taking photos. But, I mean, the game itself was really hard to watch. I was glancing over when I was covering hockey with Aiden Glockner that evening. But, gentlemen, what are your takes, man?
The offense looked terrible under Staub. I think you got to kind of sit Staub the rest of the year and ride with your transfer that you brought in, that you're paying money to, and your 5-star freshman when your transfer is struggling. That's my big takeaway.
Yeah, the defense as well. I think that was part of the reason that some of those first 2 games didn't look as impressive, even though Georgia Tech close loss, competitive, but the defense gave up 320 yards on the ground. And then even against Delaware, 31-7, but pretty misleading. Another bad defensive performance.
Just about 5 rushing yards per carry.
Yeah, and then it showed against Houston that can unravel into a loss like we saw.
Yeah, and to me, I just described the game as embarrassing, and not just because of the score, not just because of the total yards on both sides, just because how so many plays went down. Things just fell apart, things collapsed on both sides of the ball, and I'm sure so many CU fans were looking at the screen like, what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, gentlemen, just watching that. And the QB battle, I mean, you could say it continues, obviously, but I do think Salter, we think he's going to get a start tonight, folks. That has not been confirmed yet, so we will find out in about 45 minutes or so. That is not confirmed, like I said, but I would expect to see Salter starting this evening, gentlemen. I mean, Juju getting some reps as well, depending on how the scoring goes. I think going back to that Delaware game, I think they started Juju a little bit too early. He had some decent plays, but way too early, and Buffs had not held a comfortable lead up to that point.
I mean,
and then they put Staub in, and he just dominated, and that just a little overhyped.
I mean, if the Buffs offense was all Staub 2-minute drives, Buffs might be undefeated right now. That's Staub looked best in the 2-minute drill against Houston, and he looked best in the 2-minute drill against Delaware. But against Houston wasn't Delaware in terms of talent, and was one of the biggest reasons why we lost to Houston.
You can go first, actually.
Cool. Yeah, I think the offense is a little better under Staub, and my reasoning for that is Salter is the safe pick, right? We've seen the floor with Salter. It's not getting any worse under him, but also I think the upside isn't as much there with Salter. His best year was in 2023, and Liberty always has one of the weakest schedules in the country. So I don't think the ceiling's there. I think there's more potential, more upside with Staub if the defense can just find its legs.
And I think a big handicap to this kind of quarterback conversation is a little bit of the play calling. The offense doesn't really differ from quarterback to quarterback. We saw some of it. We saw, some aggressiveness when Staub first came in. But like you said after the game, some of those big plays were stuff he checked out of and sent Sincere Brown deep down the sideline, and it's a Delaware cornerback. So tonight I'm really looking forward to seeing how play calling rolls, because the big question right now is, what does this offense do well?
Mm-hmm. What's its identity?
Yeah, what's its identity? That's the million-dollar word right now. Can they find something they can hang their hat on? Otherwise, it's really not going to go well against these more intimidating Big 12 opponents.
And you know what shocked me during Houston? The lack of running the ball. Like, I know CU was down for a lot of the game, right? You passed to try to catch up. But, man, I mean, Simeon Price, I mean, he had over 5 yards a carry. Or he had over 10 yards a carry, sorry. He had, but only 5 rushes. If somebody's having that production, give him a couple more touches.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got that. You've got a man who can do it. You saw him on that rushing touchdown. It was number 2 on Play of the Week this week. I mean, you got to rely on him. You've got the man.
It's got to be simple. I think that's the biggest thing. It's got to be a simple approach. It's got to be run first, and then that can open up shots for Salter later, because the defense is going to start to load the box. I mean, it's just basic X's and O's, because what we've seen is the Buffs go into these quick passing, all these RPOs, and it really doesn't set up anything. It just kind of is what it is.
I mean, Pat Shurmur loves to run his patented Pat Shurmur screen, and this year the Buffs can't really get away with it, because while they might have the potential at wide receiver, they don't have the 4 NFL caliber wide receivers, so they can't really get away with running those screens that go for 10 yards, 12 yards on third and 10, because they don't have the talent. And flat out, we're getting out X and O. I mean, the Buffs have just been getting out X and O'd all season.
Yeah, absolutely, gentlemen. I mean, just the inability, I think, for going into questionable coaching decisions by this season that we've seen so far. And I mean, I think the offensive play calling has just been horrendous this season, and it's had its moments for sure. Like we got that W against Delaware, and we're looking to get another one here today. But I mean, Pat Shurmur and company, I mean, they just have not been able to adjust, I feel like, this season, especially not having, as you said, Xavier, those 4 NFL caliber wide receivers. We've got talent, but they're still young, they're still learning. So you've got to adapt, and that's something that we have not been able to see this entire coaching staff been able to do thus far this season.
Yeah, and something I always think about is when the quarterback is holding onto the ball forever, right? Big issue with Shador, big issue with Ryan Staub against Houston. And you have to ask, why is the QB holding onto the ball for so long? Is the quarterback not seeing the field? Are the wide receivers not getting open? Are the right plays not being called to get wide receivers open, you know?
It really hasn't been the offensive line.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
They've looked pretty solid. I mean, if this offensive line played the last couple of years with CU, they might have gone undefeated last season. I mean, they've looked really solid. I mean, the advanced stats maybe tell a more embellished story than reality. There have been some miscues, especially run blocking. That's still something they need to improve. But the offensive line's been solid, so there's really no excuse for the lack of an offensive focus.
I mean, but going back to play calling with the run blocking, we've seen Pat Shurmur bust out a few counters with Xavier Hill and Jordan Seaton on that left side, and they get about 4 yards a carry on that play, but the Buffs do not call that play a lot.
No.
It's a lot of zone reads. It's a lot of give the ball to the running back and find a hole instead of actually trying to make holes for the running backs.
Because a lot of those are RPOs. Because they're, you can't pull a guard on an RPO. I mean, I guess you could, but usually those don't result in something good if the quarterback wants to pull and pass.
Right, but if you want to run the ball, you got to impose your will.
Right. So I'm not saying I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's got to be a little bit more creative, but in the entire Pat Shurmur era, creativity's been hard to find.
I like the way you put that, Harrison. Anyway, Phyllis, shifting gears now. We're going to try to get into some positive news now, folks. Gentlemen, Ralphie 7 is making her debut tonight. This is going to be incredible. The first 2 home games this season, we were without our beloved Ralphie 6, as her name Ember, as she was retired earlier this season, especially after that horrendous embarrassment in the Alamo Bowl.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, that was rough, man. But I mean, we got to ask the question, fellas. I mean, Ralphie 7, she's been training for the past couple weeks. How far is she going to run this evening?
So I think she'll get as far as Ralphie 6 did in her career. And from my memory, Ralphie 6 got about to the opposite 40. So I think Ralphie 7 gets the opposite 40 in her first run at Folsom Field.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I just want to say it's not really a CU game without a Ralphie, so I'm sure that's going to put a lot of spirit into the team and especially the fans. But I do think first ever run, about 45-50, I would say. Like, they're not going to pick a Ralphie 7 that doesn't like to run, because, famous, that's why Ralphie 6 retired. Indifference to running was, I believe, the exact quote.
Yeah.
So they're not going to pick a Ralphie 7 that doesn't like to run.
I'm riding the bandwagon. She hits the 20, opposite 20.
Whoa!
I'm going full field.
Putting up Ralphie 5
on
numbers
first ever
now.
appearance.
And hey, interesting stat that came out today. Colorado 5-1 in Ralphie debuts, and they've outscored their opponents 178-82.
Hey,
So
there we
bodes
go.
pretty well
Yeah.
for talking score predictions later.
I like your enthusiasm, Harrison. I'm at a loss for words, man. Honestly, but I got to play it safe. I see Ralphie 7 making it out to around the 40 and then looping back. It is her first run, so we'll see. We'll see if she's the beast that Ralphie 5 was. I mean, that would be one heck of a spectacle to see here against Wyoming on this family weekend. But I'm gonna say she makes it out to the 40 on her first run.
Yeah, something to keep in mind, the new Ralphie, though, is only 1 year old.
Yeah, and
Yep.
she's had to. I mean, I don't know how long they've been training her. Obviously, they made the announcement about Ralphie 6 retiring just before the season.
Yeah.
But
From what I've heard from like a couple people in like
you got
media
your sources.
rooms,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've just one person said one thing, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know how true it is, of course, right? Because that's how those meeting rooms go. But she's been training for a minute,
Okay.
from my understanding.
Yeah.
So-
I don't think they would debut her unless she was ready.
No, I don't think they would either. I mean, you gotta have a Ralphie for Parents Weekend on a sold out Folsom Field. While it does look kind of empty right now, though.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. The crowd. I don't know. Saw a lot of student ticket sellers in the Snapchat story tonight.
Yeah, there's still 78 minutes to go.
Yeah, we still got time.
Still got time.
But one more thing on the Ralphie, she's gorgeous.
Oh,
Can I just say that is
yeah.
that is a beautiful buffalo or bison, whatever. The Ralphie 7, she'll have her grace period for sure.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, she's coming in here just a year old. She's got to get her legs underneath her. But fellas, we need to look at the stands here so far. Not too full yet, but student section starting to fill up. Those are the die-hard fans in the front couple of rows there. That was me my first couple of years. I used to get to the stadium right at opening, 2.5 hours before kickoff. Because, I mean, that's what the real ones do, fellas.
Where'd the camera go? Oh, we're showing the
Showing
fans.
the stands.
Showing
Empty
the
so far. Hey, we're back.
Hey, you know
Probably
something?
see the unis too.
Yeah.
The unis
Oh,
tonight
yeah.
look pretty good. All black.
Yep,
Though
all black.
makes zero sense why they're doing the whiteout.
Yeah.
I do not understand
I mean,
why they didn't plan around that.
I mean,
but
this happened at Bailey last year.
kind of Kansas State vibes. Thinking back to last year, the all black with the kind of gold logo on the helmet. I like it tonight.
I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and you know the gold logo on the black helmet, so I'm a big fan of that gold logo.
All black because it's a funeral.
Oh, boy. Let's hope not.
For Wyoming, of course.
For Wyoming. This is for their own funeral, fellas. Okay. So, anyway, folks, we need to talk about what is happening around the Big 12 today. There's some interesting games. Xavier, what do you need to kick us off, man?
So, I mean, the Oklahoma State lost to Tulsa. I mean, Mike Gundy went over in the Big 12 last year in wins, and he's out here losing to Tulsa. I think it's time to make a change out in Stillwater. So,
And it's a real end of an era. He's the longest tenured coach in the country.
Wow.
And like you were saying about wearing all black to a funeral, Oklahoma State, all black was last night.
all black to Mike Gundy.
And yeah, Mike Gundy probably won't make it too much farther. I'm a little bit surprised that he wasn't already fired, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're just giving him one more year to prove himself, but man, I'm not expecting him to last through this week. I mean,
Yeah.
Tulsa, like, not to discredit Tulsa, right? But this was their first win, right? It's not a fantastic Tulsa team.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, Gundy's got to go. It's just, I mean, he had a great run. He's past his prime.
Well, and they struggled last year, and then they didn't really do anything in the portal, and they didn't really do anything in recruiting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's unfortunate CU didn't draw them this year for any of those games. They got a gauntlet of a Big 12 schedule.
Yeah, this
they
is
do,
it's
yeah.
gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough couple months, fellas. Holy cow! Anyway, we're looking at TCU. I mean, they won the battle for the iron skillet against SMU. Just very close by. I mean, you've got Big 12 versus an ACC opponent. They went to the ACC SMU rather went to the ACC last year, and but the Horned Frogs walk away 35-24. So, Harrison, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, TCU looked very impressive. I watched some of that game, and this is apparently the last game of this rivalry, at least for a long time.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so unfortunate because TCU and SMU have had plenty of history, though really have never been powerhouses. I mean, SMU has at some point, back in the 70s. Nick's looking at me like I'm crazy for forgetting Eric Dickerson.
Pony Express and
Yeah,
Eric Dickerson, Craig James won a national
it's been a
championship.
while, man. That was when the games were in black and white. Come on.
I'm a big Pony fan. I just want to
Okay,
put that
well,
out
my
there.
dad went to SMU. I'm not going to disrespect him, but it's been a minute. They had the death penalty. They've had some rough years, but they're on the come up. But still, TCU, in case in point, SMU's been on the come up, but TCU took care of them, and they've looked very impressive. That is going to be a really tough game for the Buffs in 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
October 4th.
2 weeks.
Or 2
2
weeks.
weeks,
Yep.
yeah.
October 4th, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk too much about SMU, but they were ranked coming into the season. They were still are an ACC contender. They've already lost twice to Big 12 teams, Baylor and now TCU. So I don't know. It was a good TCU win. I'll just say that offense was flowing.
yeah, TCU had a sneaky 9-4 season last year.
Yeah.
They did.
And so, if that says anything about this TCU team, they returned a lot of players as well.
Josh Hoover.
I mean, Josh Hoover's the big one, obviously, right? So, I mean, I'll say the same thing as Colby. Just a good win for TCU, and I think they're going to be contenders for the Big 12 this year.
Yeah,
I think. Sorry.
ahead, Colby.
I already had my piece, but I think with this SMU win, they've kind of solidified themselves as true contenders for the Big 12.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at TCU. They were strong. I mean, we played them our first year in the Coach Prime era. That was a fun game to watch, and I mean they've always held their own. SMU's they had one heck of a season last year, and except when they got to that Penn State game in the first round of the playoffs. I'm like, Oh boy!
It's
I mean,
gonna be.
you saw where they put their band, right?
Oh.
In Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
Over those. I mean,
But it's
come
gonna
on.
be interesting to see what CU's game against TCU looks like. Is it gonna look more like the 2023 game, or if memory serves you, the 2022 game
Ooh.
Oh,
to start
boy.
the 1-11 campaign?
But
That was at Folsom Field.
That was at Folsom
Yeah.
Field, but the Buffs were hanging in there.
No, it
like,
was a
after
close
the
game at
first quarter.
halftime.
Yeah,
it was a close game
halftime.
at halftime, and then TCU kind of pulled
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
You wonder, obviously this team is not a 1-11 football
Right.
team. We hope, but
Let's hope not, man.
But that is going to be a tough game, no matter how you slice it, because TCU's looked as impressive as any team in the conference.
Oh yeah, they have.
Oh yeah, boys. So that's TCU, folks. Folks, we got to talk about the Utes and the Red Raiders. What happened today out in Salt Lake, fellas? 34-10. Number 17, Texas Tech handling the 16th ranked Utah Utes right in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, that Utah offense, I really thought was going to be stout this year. And what to Kobe's point, they haven't been as good as they should be. But I mean, Devin Dampier threw 3 picks in the first half. I mean, Texas Tech has the best offense, maybe in the nation. I mean, they were averaging 600 yards per game up until today. I mean, Texas Tech, they're gonna contend for the Big 12. I was excited for that game to see how Utah would respond, and Devin Dampier threw 3 picks. So I mean,
Disaster class for my agenda. I had Utah winning the Big 12 before the season, and they just looked completely outclassed. Texas Tech looks incredible. Like, I mean, they obviously spent tons of money.
They got
all
that oil
those
money.
resources flowing.
Oh,
I
that
talked
oil.
about it on Football Live. It's it's legit. That talent is legit, and Joey McGuire's a great coach, so he can put that together. And they've looked like the favorite, at least at this point in the season.
Well, and if you're a Utah fan, you really got to be sad because the defense for most of the game did its job, right? Going into the fourth quarter, it was 10-3. So, like, most of the game, defense did its job. Of course, sometimes games, the score gets kind of, skewed.
Yeah.
So the offense just didn't do its part. So if the offense can figure things out, then Utah can still put up a really, really, really good season.
and I still have faith in Utah.
Yeah.
I'm not shaken.
Yeah.
I am unmoved.
Yeah.
Devin Dampier, he had a rough game, but that's gonna happen.
Well, and they have the best big offensive line maybe in the nation.
Oh yeah.
So
they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, both contenders. We'll be following this closely throughout the rest of the season, folks. But going into UCF dominating Bill Belichick's Tar Heels in North Carolina, 27-9, down in Orlando, fellas. I mean, Belichick era, it's off to a rough start. I mean, coming in from, he was let go of the Patriots a couple of years back and sat out this past year. Finally was hired by the Tar Heels in hopes of turning their program around, but he hasn't delivered so far. That NFL coaching talent coming into the college level hasn't translated yet, fellas.
Yeah, no, I know who's giggling right now. Tom Brady and Robert Kraft. They probably feel pretty good about, the whole discussion about who was, the proponent of that Patriots dynasty. But to digress from the NFL, I mean, UCF's look solid. We were talking about it on Football Live again, and, I said UCF, I was very confident that Scott Frost is doing a decent job out there. And, we look at Wyoming coming out of the tunnel. They got the yellow unis today instead of the white.
Ooh, yeah.
All
Oh,
white.
wow.
But yeah, not to get too sidetracked. UCF looks pretty good. Then again, I don't know if it's more of them looking good or UCF or North Carolina rather being just that bad.
Yeah. Well, you could be the greatest coach ever, but you still have to have the talent, at least to some extent. And, Bill Belichick, he had, of course, a transfer portal class, right? But it's his first year. Right? He still needs to build his program, build his roster, his true roster, what he wants, what he's happy with. It was just, the team's been embarrassing, though. I'll never forget UNC's first drive against TCU in week 1. They looked like they were the greatest game.
yeah.
It was the greatest drive ever. And then
was.
they did nothing
Yeah,
the whole season after that, so yeah.
I'm just going to Colby and Harrison's point, is UNC just that bad? Or is UCF pretty solid. I mean, I think UNC is just that bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take a minute
It
for Bill
wouldn't shock me.
Belichick to kind of build a culture there with the Tar Heels because I don't think he has the players and the talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely not, fellas. It's gonna be a rough couple of years probably in Chapel Hill, but we'll be following this throughout the course of the season. I want to see how UCF does in the Big 12 going forward because this loss for the Tar Heels. That's could just be that they're not great, but I want to see how UCF does. They were decent last year. Obviously we took care of them, but hey, going back to this season, we got West Virginia dominating the Jayhawks at Kansas. Well, I don't want to say dominating. It's just a touchdown. But
Oh no! That was a while
let's
ago.
see the score of
excuse
that
me.
now.
That
We
was-
need to-
that
we need to take
game
a
has
look.
gotten out of hand from my.
oh boy, we
Yeah.
are getting this up on.
Well,
our stats right
we
now.
got the Buffs taking the field just to as you do some
Oh, yeah,
research.
Oh, those
Yeah,
uniforms,
let
man.
me, let me get
Caden
this pulled
Salter
up
leading
real
the
quick.
tunnel.
Oh,
Leading
man,
the
I
tunnel.
mean,
he will
yeah,
be
first
starting.
one out there.
I think
I
they're
don't wanna
they're
give-
rolling with K-Salt today.
Yeah, that was the report. Again, I don't know why Coach Prime didn't want to just instill the faith, get their words behind Salter. I don't get
Yeah.
why he didn't just announce it on Tuesday.
Right.
It was going to
But-
get leaked.
Ooh.
It got leaked last week.
Turn
Yeah.
the speaker system up
Here
too.
comes the music. Man. This is like I say it all the time. My cousin's subwoofer in his trunk is like this, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Dylan, I love you, man.
Going back to that Kansas versus West Virginia game, Harrison's point, out of control. Kansas is up 41-10 on Rich Rod and the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Kansas has looked very impressive
solid.
too. This top of the Big 12 is just loaded. They just there's so many above average, like very good teams that'll probably finish like 8-4.
Right.
They're maybe not college football playoff national championship contenders, but they're just good, well coached, well put together football teams, and Kansas is no exception.
Yeah, well, I think Kansas is ecstatic to be back on track because they're supposed to be a contender last year.
Yep.
Got
They
off
were.
to a terribly slow start. They did put together a hot win streak, which included beating CU. And so, yeah, Kansas is just happy to be back on track. They're looking like they were supposed to look like last year. Of course, though, West Virginia, this is not a good West Virginia team, so I wouldn't say this instills a lot of faith in the rest of Kansas season, but man, they're looking good through a few weeks.
And I think West Virginia is going to have the same problem as Bill Belichick with UNC. Rich Rod just returning to West Virginia.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a minute for him to recruit and build a team.
Yeah, they had the big backyard brawl win last week.
Yep.
Textbook emotional letdown game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, fellas. This Jayhawks looking good so far. Well, hopefully the starts of this season will propel them towards the playoffs. They're looking to get there last year, as you said, but let's hope it's better this year. So looking at some scores, looking at the BYU and East Carolina game at halftime, it's currently 13-3 in favor of the Cougars. And looking at the Baylor, they are currently tied with the ASU Sun Devils at 10 at halftime.
That's going to
folks.
be a good game.
Oh,
Dave
absolutely.
Levitt, Sawyer Robertson. I'm hopefully going to catch the end of it once I get back somewhere.
And Sam Levitt's kind of been a disappointment this season.
A little bit, yeah.
So
But still, it's only been a couple games.
it's only a couple games.
Arizona State is just a good team.
Right.
So it's
They have the most returners in the nation.
yeah.
I did in the SBS official pick'ems. I did pick Baylor.
Okay.
I think Baylor has the better QB play, has just the better offense overall, just more talent shown just throughout the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, fellas. That brings us to, speaking of pick'ems, we got to pick our score for today, gentlemen. So you wrote them down here, folks. We'll see what you have to say. We're going to talk in the live chat. So, ladies and gentlemen, Harrison, we got to start with you.
I've got the Buffaloes tonight. I've got a closer game than many may imagine. I know that Wyoming, I don't think their defense is any slouch. I think they're going to test Colorado early. I think it may be another slow start where it's, 3-0 end of the first quarter. Tough sledding early on. But I think Colorado pulls ahead and then Wyoming tries to come from behind, gets some 2-point conversions. So I'm going to go with 24-16 is my prediction.
Colby, what do you got?
I'm right there with Harrison, where I fully expect this to be a slow start for the CU offense. What he said, maybe 3-0. at the first quarter sounds right to me, but overall final score, I had 27-13. CU's going to get a few touchdowns, a couple field goals in there, and, you know, Wyoming's going to be able to expose a couple of holes in the CU defense.
Yeah, I mean, to their same sentiment, I think it's going to be kind of like Delaware, where before Stop came in, it was a 10-3 game. You know, so I think that the Buffs offense is going to take a little bit to get going, but I think that they eventually will get going and get their feet underneath them. Hopefully behind the play of K-Salt, but I got Colorado beating the Cowboys 28-7.
All right, fellas. I'm getting major Delaware vibes here coming into another group of 6 matchup. You start off the season, and I mean, Buffs got off to a slow start last time. I'm really seeing that kind of repeat. But give me Colorado 35-7, baby. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into our pregame show at Folsom Field. We are about 67 minutes out from kickoff, and Ralphie 7 taking the field. We appreciate you joining us here on SBS. Harrison Simeon, Colby Wyatt, Xavier Nevitz. I'm Kieran Walker saying you heard it here first, and we'll see you post-game.